Big boy on the rails. Hello everybody, welcome back to Old, Frail, and Decrepit. Today I'm going to look at a problem that some of us run into, especially when we first get back from a train show. No, I'm not talking about the eBay addiction, which I don't know a whole lot about. I can give it up at any time. Of course, that would be 9 days after the end of my last bid that I have out there, but I could give it up at any time. No, the other problem I have in mind is coupler compatibility. Now, maybe you've come home from a train show and you've had couplers like this and this and this. So, how do you get them all to work together? Now, what I've done in the past is what I did here. I picked this up for $1 at a train show. Nice car. Didn't have any trucks, so no couplers, no wheels. So I took apart a Marx flatbed and attached the trucks and wheels and couplers on here, and then made a floor for the second level of this car with the flatbed body. But, you know, that can be a lot of work. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I can couple these all together, and we're going to end the video running these cars together, maybe a couple of others, and I'm going to show you pictures of the adaptations that I've made, the different cars that I've done that allow me to run whatever I want on a Marx-based layout like mine. Now, for those of you who've got Polar Expresses, what do you do the other 11 months of the year? Well, as I don't actually have Polar Express cars, I bought this at a train show, just the engine and the tender. So what I did was I took it apart, added a Marx tab. Let's see if we can't get that thing focused. There you go. Tab and slot. And what I did was I put it in between the truck and the body and left the Lionel coupler on there too. So what that does is that gives me the opportunity to use the Polar Express just the way I bought it. And I can also pull Lionel or Marx cars with it, which usually I end up using it with Marx car. Over here, we see another car that I did a similar thing to. This thing rolls so smoothly. But you see, I did the same thing. I added Marx coupler between the truck and the frame. I did it on both ends. I don't know, I was really ambitious that day. But I left the Lionel coupler in place so that I can use it with the Lionel cars that I have. Now, when we come to these pre-war couplers, now those of you who are into pre-war, you know that these two are compatible. You can actually hook this box coupler up to this hook and latch apparatus. Works out really well. I've actually gotten a great deal of respect for the way those work. But how do those work with Marx? That's when I come up with this car. I paid about, I think, $2 at a train show for this. I mean, it looks like a pretty nice car, but you can see, because it was missing a coupler, I've added another tab and slot Marx coupler to it. And that way, it can act as the transition car between my post-war, or my pre-war Lionel, and all of my Marx rolling stock. So you can see that with that, you've got all kinds of possibilities. Now, as I mentioned before, we've got this thing with this really strange international coupler. Now, what I bought this car for was my Thomas the Tank Engine set. It was a Christmas set, brand spanking new. And you know what them silly people did? They put an American type caboose with that set. So I was at a train show and I found this, I think it's a Hornby, yep, by Meccano. So I bought this. I thought, you know, I can do something with that. So you can about guess what I did with that. Ha, fooled you. I put a Lionel coupler on it. So it'll couple up with the other Thomas the Tank Engine rolling stock that I have. So it makes for a real nice brake van. Even those little doors open. It's really cute. I think I paid like $4 for it. But that makes that a rolling stock and makes that Thomas the Tank Engine set look a lot better too. Now, here's a situation that got the Marx plastic tilt coupler and the Lionel coupler. So what are we going to do? Now, we could put another car in there. And I didn't put any type of tab and slot coupler on the Lionel passenger car. Instead, I made this. Took the tab and slot coupler and a broken Lionel coupler, which I just glued onto here. I think I actually used like just some super glue. And just put that on there, drop that into the slot, and there we are. Now, let's see how that pulls. Leaves kind of a wide gap, but it does make it a useful lash up. Now, looking at Marx couplers, you can see that I have 4 different types. Now, there is actually a 5th type, which is a one-way coupler, which I don't have any of that example. I'll leave that for the hardcore collector guys. This is the oldest style here. It's the tab and slot. It's actually, of all the Marx couplers, that's my favorite. This is the plastic knuckle coupler that Marx came out with. And this is actually what my first set had. When I was 8 years old, I snapped one of them off. And that kind of soured me on them. So whenever I have a broken one of these, you can about guess it gets a tab and slot. But here's something cool that you need to see. Tab and slot and plastic knuckle coupler. they are compatible. See, them Marx boys knew what they were doing, didn't they? Now, the next come up was this tilt coupler. Auto coupler, I think they called it. But you would tilt it to release. It's got a little spring in there. And they work out really nice because they couple up really well. Oh, gotta turn that one around. All right, here we go. You just slide them together and they are coupled. Now, the difficulty with these original metal is they are compatible with only the plastic tilt coupler. Now let's look at the plastic tilt coupler. When Marx did it, they thought ahead. You notice the slot in there. That makes it compatible with the tab and slot.